Oh, I got to introduce her. All right, all right. I'm glad to introduce our star for the day, who's going to give our program, my wife and director of the upcoming musical theater production of My Fair Lady, Dana Ayers.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is good to be back with you. And I am not the star of this particular presentation. I have members of the cast from My Fair Lady who are here, and they are the actual stars. But just a tiny bit of history. I won't ask with a show of hands how many of you have been to a Town and Gown production, but I will tell you that we are the longest continuing operating community theater in the state of Oklahoma. And so, yeah, even during COVID, we found a way. I'm not there yet. We found a way. We found a way to. We got permission, and you pay for that permission. But we continued having productions, and we videoed, and then we live streamed them. So it was an interesting 2 years that was going on, but it did happen, and so we are very pleased to still be here, and we are in good health in a number of ways. We are a purely volunteer organization. Nobody gets paid. Everything that happens, it's all volunteer. The directors, the choreographers, the costumers, the actors, the people who do the props, the people who not park the cars, tell you where to park your car, the people who run the box office, all volunteer. And anybody and everybody in this room would be more than welcome to come and join us in any capacity that you might feel led. We can be reached by our email address, which is townandgown.org, or our phone number, 405-372-9122, which is also our box office number, so tickets will be going on sale soon, and you will know that. We are very thrilled that this was our 75th anniversary year. It was a great year. We started off with Legally Blonde, which broke all records for attendance and money made at that point in time. That was followed with A Christmas Carol, which was adapted and directed by Timothy Cole. It broke all records previously held by productions at Town and Gown. We did Moon Over Buffalo, which you might recognize an actor or two from that production sitting over here at this table. Then there was an On the Edge production. So we do 5 main stage productions, and then we've kind of opened up the floor to submissions to do something that we call On the Edge. And those are shows that might be a little edgy. They might have interesting content. There might be some interesting language, but they are things that deserve to have presentations. We only do them one weekend normally instead of 2. They are not part of the regular season subscription, but they are very important. And this year, that production was Love Letters, which was directed by Chris Weimer, an Oklahoma State language professor. And Richard and I were fortunate enough to be one of the couples that was presented in that. They did 6 performances, 3 couples. Each couple got to do 2 evenings. It was delightful. Then that was followed by Streetcar Named Desire, Tennessee Williams' very wonderful dramatic play, which had never been presented at Town and Gown. And then the season will close out with My Fair Lady, which has not been seen on the Town and Gown stage since 1993. So I was very, very tickled to have that production selected for presentation. When Town and Gown started in 1951, they did 1 show. Anybody know what that 1 show was? Recollection? It was very popular at the time. It was called The Good Wife. And it has been done, I think, twice more since then, just kind of, it's a little out of date. It's not terribly contemporary, but we have a play selection committee, and they get together and they decide what looks like it would be a good season. So they have met, and next year's selections have been announced, and they are all plays and musicals that have never been seen on the Town and Gown stage. There'll be 5 main stage productions. There'll be 2 on the Edge productions, and they will be, as soon as I find it, the first show of the season is a wonderful musical, Tony Award-winning musical from, I believe, 2015 called Dear Evan Hansen. So it will be very much attractive to a younger set of actors. I do believe it tells the tale of some high school students, and it is a dark subject, but handled in a very loving fashion. There is humor in it. I don't know if you'd call it a dramedy musical or not, but Dear Evan Hansen is the first show, followed by On the Edge by Stillwater playwright called The Guys. And we are hoping to get her back here for maybe a sit-down session before opening night or something. It tells the tale of the ladder company in New York City that lost 8 of its 11 full-time members during 9/11. And this woman was asked to help the chief of the fire station write the obituaries for the 8 gentlemen who were lost in that. And then it was turned into a play. It was turned into a movie starring Sigourney Weaver. So you may have seen it, but The Guys will be happening on the Edge. Then Stillwater's very own Renee Perry will be directing a double bill of what she calls children's musicals, musicals that will be presented by adults for children. And they are John Rutter's The Reluctant Dragon, followed by Amal and the Night Visitors. That will be a wonderful, wonderful Christmas season production. Then in the spring, we will kick off with Clue. You know the movie Clue? No, this is not the musical, but Clue. So if any of you have aspirations of setting foot on stage, I'm sure that Timothy Cole, the director, would love to see you walk through the door. Great show. There's a production called The Other Side, which is a 4-person drama directed by Paul Weber, very well known, and it is a family relationship drama. And then the final show of the season. Wait, I'm leaving something out. Marjorie Prime will be an On the Edge production, which deals with, it's about 10 years old, but it was very prescient. It deals with the subject of AI and AI people, if you will, relationships. So that'll be On the Edge. And then the final show for the season will be the wonderful Broadway musical, Something Rotten, which tells the tale of 2 brothers who are trying to break into the business, but unfortunately Shakespeare is the popular guy. And we find out all sorts of interesting things about Shakespeare, including, whether or not he actually wrote all those plays he became famous for. So it's very fun. It's very wonderful. It has great characters. You will enjoy it a lot. I might mention at this point, Richard, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that we are a member of the Oklahoma Community Theater Association. And last summer, we decided that we need to do something in addition to celebrating our 75 years. So we submitted an application to be considered for an award by OCTA, and we won the award. So Stillwater's Town and Gown Theater was named the Oklahoma Community Theater Association Theater of the Year for 2025-2026. So that's a big deal, and it's in our gallery. If you come a little early to one of the shows or during intermission, our gallery, instead of having local artists, as we often do, we have done a timeline of what's gone on at Town and Gown. We have featured different directors that have done a lot of work there. There'll be a wall that will feature the summer musicals that have happened at Town and Gown. So it's very fun and interesting. The scroll that you have seen as you were coming in is one of the 2 large televisions that are playing in either side of the arena. It does have sound to it, so it might make a little more sense when you hear it. It starts in 1951 and sort of goes forward through the decades, what was going on in the world and what was going on with Town and Gown. But we would love to see you all out there. Season ticket information will go out in July, and we have come back again from COVID, where our season subscriptions dropped down to about 250, and we are now back well over 500 season subscriptions. So we're back bigger than ever. We are trying to set records and make money for the theater so that we can continue doing things that might be a little out of the ordinary. Stillwater Children's Theater comes and does summer camps in our facility during the summer the last couple of years. The money that we raise right now is going toward major campaigns. We've worked on the bathrooms. We've worked on the roof. We've worked on the heating and air conditioning. We're in a building that is, I believe, 65 years old. And so y'all know that things start breaking down. So we are a not-for-profit, and that is where your ticket money goes to, if you will. So Thank you for your support. I might point out that yesterday, according to the lyrics of one of Eliza Doolittle's songs, yesterday was Eliza Doolittle Day, the 20th of May. So if you're listening to the lyrics to Just You Wait, you will hear that particular reference made. So without further ado, I am very delighted to welcome, to introduce to you, you've seen her before. She's done productions with Town and Gown before, but here is Callie Grizzle. She is one of our two Eliza Doolittles. The show is double cast, and she will be starting us off as our Cockney Cinderella with the song, Wouldn't It Be Loverly?
All I want is a room somewhere far away from the cold night air, with one enormous chair. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely? Lots of chocolate for me to eat, lots of coal making lots of eat. Warm face, warm hands, warm feet. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely? Oh, so lovely, sitting up so bloomin' lewdly still. I would never budge till spring crept over me windowsill. Someone's head resting on my knee, warm and tender as he can be. Who takes good care of me? Oh, wouldn't it be lovely, 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 lovely.
The play My Fair Lady was based upon a wonderful novel turned into a play. Okay, let me go back. The musical My Fair Lady was based on a novel turned into a play by George Bernard Shaw called Pygmalion. I referenced the fact that we have a Cockney Cinderella, if you will, but it's not a traditional telling of the Cinderella love story. There's a transformation that occurs for several people during the course of this production. One of the characters that we're introduced to would be considered, I think, the ingenue love lead, and that is Freddie Eynsford Hill. He is absolutely besotted with Eliza from the first time that he sees her at the Ascot opening race, and he sort of comes by the house and he brings flowers and he writes her love letters, and gradually they do actually become a couple. George Bernard Shaw, interestingly enough, was very, very clear that he did not intend Eliza to end up with Professor Henry Higgins at the end of the production. He intended her to be an equal and stand on her own 2 feet, but he was very specific that his intention was that Eliza end up with Andrew Terrell, our Freddie Eynsford Hill.
I have often walked down this street before, but the pavement always stayed beneath my feet before. All at once am I several stories high, knowing I'm on the street where you live. Are there lilac trees in the heart of town? Can you hear a lark in any other part of town? Does enchantment pour out of every door? No, it's just on the street where you live. And oh, the feeling just to know somehow you are near. the overpowering feeling that any second you may suddenly appear. People stop and stare, they don't bother me, for there's nowhere else on earth that I would rather be. Let the time go by, I won't care if I can be here on the street where you live.
Now, any good piece of literature is going to have your leading lady, leading man, protagonist, antagonist, ingenue, love leads. But there is also going to be at least one character in there who is a character. So, our very own character for this production, playing Alfred P. Doolittle, who is Eliza's father, who keeps popping in and out of things and making things very interesting for Eliza and Henry Higgins. Our Alfred P. Doolittle is your very own and my very own Richard Ayers.
All it takes, gents, is a little faith, hope, and a little bit of luck. The Lord above gave man an arm of iron that he could do his job and never shirk. The Lord above gave man an arm of iron, but with a little bit of luck, someone else will do the blinking work. With a little bit of luck, someone will work. The Lord above gave liquor for temptation, to see if man could turn away from sin. The Lord above gave liquor for temptation, but with a little bit of luck, when temptation comes, you'll give right in. With a little bit of luck, you'll give right in. Oh, you can walk the straight and narrow, but with a little bit of luck, you'll run amok. The gentle sex was made for man to marry, to share his nest and see his food was cooked. The gentle sex was made for man to marry, but with a little bit of luck, you can have it all and not get hooked. With a little bit of luck, you'll not get hooked. With a little bit of blooming luck.
My Fair Lady premiered on Broadway in 1956. It was nominated for 6 Tony Awards, and it won for Best Musical, and it won for Rex Harrison, Best Actor. When the movie was made in 1964, they did not bring along the beautiful Julie Andrews, who had made her Broadway debut at the age of 19, playing Eliza Doolittle. But we all know now Audrey Hepburn was the Eliza Doolittle in the movie version. However, the movie version of My Fair Lady won for Rex Harrison the Oscar for Best Actor. It won the Oscar for Best Music, and it won the Oscar for Best Picture. So this is a very, very... He was nominated. He didn't win. He won a BAFTA, but I'm not sure any of us care about the British Film Awards. So, yeah, Sterling Holloway was a wonderful Alfred P. Doolittle. So, and then there's Richard. So, there, I'm not Either way, you can take that, however. And then there's Richard. So one of the things that My Fair Lady is known for, truly, in addition to the other things that I've mentioned, is the music is so iconic. And you know, even if you weren't sure you knew a lot of the music, you know a lot of the music from this show. And there are a lot of solo numbers that get to spotlight the leads, and that's really delightful. One of the two Henry Higginses, so Eliza Doolittle and Henry Higgins, are both double cast for this production. And you have seen this particular Henry Higgins in a number of shows out at Town and Gown. Most recently, you saw him in Moon Over Buffalo, and he very graciously came and auditioned to be Henry Higgins. So I am delighted now to have Shane O'Mealy come forward and share with you one of the most well-known of Henry Higgins' songs, I've Grown Accustomed to Her Face.
Damn, 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 damn. I've grown accustomed to a face. She almost makes the day begin. I've grown accustomed to the tune. She whistles night and noon. Her smiles, her frowns, her ups, her downs are second nature to me now. Like breathing out and breathing in. I was serenely independent and content before we met. Surely I can always be that way again. And yet, I've grown accustomed to her looks, accustomed to her voice, accustomed to her face. Marry Freddie. What an infantile thing to do. What a heartless, wicked, brainless thing to do. But she'll regret it. She'll regret it. It was doomed before they even take the vow. I can see her now, Mrs. Freddie Eynsford Hill, in a wretched little flat above the store. I can see her now, not a penny in the till, and a bill collector beating at the door. She'll try and teach the things I taught her, and end up selling flowers instead. Begging for her bread and water, while her husband has his breakfast in bed. But I'm so used to hear her say, good morning every day. Her joys, her woes, her highs, her lows are second nature to me now. Like breathing out and breathing in. I'm very grateful she's a woman and so easy to forget. Rather like a habit one can always break. And yet I've grown accustomed to the trace of something in the air, accustomed to her face.
This next performer is a Stillwater native. I'm sure a lot of you know who she is and know her sister and know her mother, know the whole family. I was so delighted when she walked through the door to audition. It was one of those unexpected surprises that I tell people happen during auditions, and then it wonderfully happened to me. So our second cast for Eliza Doolittle is not second in ranking, but double cast, and they are both absolutely superb, is Sarah DeYoung. And I am so pleased that she is back here. And I think the last time that Sarah and Shane worked together was not Over the Rainbow, Thank you, Wizard of Oz, together, and so Younger in Time. Shannon DeYoung is also in the show, delightfully enough. Our second cast that you don't see here today for Henry Higgins is very well known to y'all also, and that is Dr. Scott Martin. So you will see lots of faces that you know. You will also see lots of faces that are new to the Town and Gown stage. So again, I'm telling you, go on the website, call the box office, see if there's something you might be interested in doing. But today, we are going to close with probably the most recognized number from My Fair Lady by one of the most recognized Eliza Doolittles in Stillwater, Oklahoma, Sarah DeYoung. I could have danced all night.
Bed, I couldn't go to bed. My head's too light to try to set it down. Sleep, I couldn't sleep tonight. Not for all the jewels in the crown. I could have danced all night. I could have danced all night and still have begged for more. I could have spread my wings and done 1,000 things I've never done before. I'll never know what made it so exciting. Why all at once my heart took flight. I only know when he began to dance with me. I could have danced all night. I could have danced all night. I could have danced all night and still have begged for more. I could have spread my wings and done 1,000 things I've never done before. I'll never know what made it so exciting. Why all at once my heart took flight. I only know when he began to dance with me. I could have danced all night.
Thank you so much for having us out here today. Box office, www.townandgown.org. Phone number 405-372-9122. It's always good to see you all again. You are such a gracious audience. Thank you very much from Town and Gown.